Yo, 3 thumbs up, no viewers, what's going on? So there's one person watching at least. Hello, hello. We've not got any intro music today because, hey, Shawnee's here. In Reddit, saying I've only got one viewer. So no intro music today because, yesterday we got our stream cut off before we even started due to a copyright strike. And we are on a little bit earlier. I did say we're going to go on around, 7:30 today, but unfortunately, well not unfortunately, but the lady who starts the pan bang, she kind of come out and told me that they'd start at 6:30 this evening because they some of the kids, the little kids, I think it's a little bit late for them. Although 7:30, they ain't got school to go to. It's not like anyone's got anywhere to go to right now. So I figured let's start a little bit earlier and see if we can catch it live. So I do got a little spliff. Hello Nancy. Why can't I see Shawnee? Shawnee, I don't even see your comments. Another thing, if there's only 4 of you here now, but I do got a guest caller for you in a little while. Some of you ladies who like the accent might be in for a little bit of a treat. But anyway, we are going to try and see if we can catch the pan bang in action. I don't know if people have been a little bit programmed for the 7:30 pan banging, so it might catch a little people off guard. Although I can see a little bit of movement up above. I don't know if the pan banger lady is coming out. So still only saying 3 of you are watching. Maybe my figures ain't so good. Hopefully we're not going to get any puffering here. So at least there's 3 people in. That's better than no people. But we've got more thumbs than people. Are you sure someone hasn't been blocked to me? Oh, Laura's here. Shawnee, now. God, it'd help if I started looking. Heidi's here. People are watching. Don't know what's up with that. So that is what we're trying to do, is catch the pan bang live, if or when it comes down. So I'm just, like I said, having a little puffy puff. And maybe if you guys have got pans, you can bang them too, wherever you are. Still saying only 3 are watching, but it looks like there's a lot more of you in the comment sections. We've got Nancy, Laurie, Shawnee, Ribbit. So maybe there are only 3. I might have to pick up the tacos in a bit. Well, tacos are good, so it's about 1 minute to go. Let's see what happens. But it's been a nice little thing. It has brought the sort of people of the community out, and it's actually the first time that lady in particular spoke to me today. I was out earlier having a little bit of a smoke. I'm kind of perched on my little table at the minute, so I'm trying to sit. I've also got a little cup of coffee on the go. There you go. That sounds like something's clanging and banging. So I've also got like my little can to bang. It's a coffee pot. So we'll kind of wait, see if a few more come out. So go, we'll give them a little base out tonight. Look. That was a person who spoke to. Maybe people set their clocks. But the guy's got the drum going, that's pretty good. Oh, one little kid's dancing around. I don't know if you can. Only one person watching now, so maybe we'll go back inside and get the things under a proper proceedings. See, I finished smoking now, so that wasn't too bad. As I said, sometimes when you plan for these things, they don't always go the way you anticipate. So sorry about the camera jerking. So sorry, that's because I've been sipping my coffee. Hello, Sings a Lot. Hello. So who we got? Tap to retry. Sorry. So who have we got in the house at the minute? Hold on. There's John Donson. John Donson, everybody. Say a very, very, very. It's going to be weird calling you John Donson, John Donson. But he, like Rosa, you remember the other day, my good friend Rosa showed up and hung out with us. Another friend from back home, who's actually going to be our guest caller in a little while. We are going to wait until a few more of you show up. You know what it's like. People do arrive late. So if you don't mind, while a few of you do show up, I'm going to change into my daytime pajamas. So I am going to be getting undressed off camera, ladies, but you can fantasize all you like. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is a little bit touch and go outside. So usually, have we zoomed in there? I don't know. That looks incredibly close for some reason. Never mind. Oh dear. Alrighty, I'm situated now, so let's get this show started. Who else is here yet? Still only 5 people. Let's give it a little while. My Wi-Fi is quite bad here normally, but even worse during these times, but we can discuss in a bit. Yeah, hold on a second, John Donson. Anyway, give John Donson some love, who is here at the minute. As I said, very dear and old friend of mine, and sometimes in times like this is when you start hearing from old friends or people you haven't heard from in quite a while. And we kind of, am I sure I'm not zoomed in there? That seems very peculiar to me. I don't know. But anyway, a little bit like I was saying yesterday in the Pan Bang video, that it's nice, you know, under normal circumstances, people wouldn't come out like this. And, you know, I mentioned just a few minutes earlier that the lady who kind of, I think, started organizing all this, or was maybe the first one, said to me that she was going to be coming out at 6:30 because the children wanted to get involved. And it's probably a little bit too far to make out on the camera where you were watching, perhaps, but there were a whole bunch of little kids out there, and you know, that was nice for them. You know, it can be much fun. I know some of you ladies out there, you've got little ones of your own. They're stuck up inside. They don't really know what's going on. So, you know, it's a nice little thing to come out and blow off some steam, and a nice sort of sense of community and a little bit of solidarity. Now, John Donson down here. So we've got 8 people watching now. How are you doing, Heidi? He's one of my dear friends from back home. We pretty much known each other from school, although probably weren't mates until we kind of left school, and probably once upon a time even hated each other's guts a little bit. But as we sort of grew up, we kind of found out we were not too dissimilar and become a pretty good mates. And he's one of my buddies from back in the comic shop. I've got my little Rorschach mask there. Maybe I should leave that in the screen for you. Rorschach is one of the characters from The Watchmen. I was just chatting with Colin a little bit earlier about how we're living in times very, very similar to that in The Watchmen. If you kind of read between the lines of Alan Moore's The Watchmen, you can kind of see how a secret shadow government that controls lots of organizations and medias and companies can manipulate you know, the world into believing something that isn't real is actually going on in order to gain totalitarian control. Yeah, isn't that always the way? The simulation is real sometimes, Colin. So it's saying we've got 7 folks here, but he has a very, very, very interesting experience. Now, England, somewhere I haven't been for coming on to 8 years now. A little bit detached from it, although I still sort of have a little bit of contact with my folks and hear what's going on in my hometown, sort of through social media and in that sort of kind of route. But I'm pretty sure it's a very, very different place to the one I left. Now, what you have to also understand, guys, is England isn't exactly that large of a nation, and it is an island nation, and it does rely on an awful lot of imports, and it doesn't really export a great deal of stuff. So if food supplies and food lines and this kind of stuff start shutting down, then England is kind of Alcatraz over there. But Colin was saying to me before we come on, it's a very, very different place to the one I left, and it's become very different in like a matter of weeks. It's kind of almost without any resistance or any kind of real reasoning, we've been put under a global medical martial law, and no other way to put it, that is the times that we're living. We're under a medical martial law. Even here, within a few days of it being called a pandemic, we caught video. We got some video of people outside the No Frills grocery store waiting in line 6 feet apart, limited amount of availability to items. You know, you can't have more than 2 cases of eggs, you can't have more than a pint of milk. Why do you need 12 toilet paper rolls? You know, stuff like this. Kind of people waiting their turn, and it's almost one going in, one going out, one going in, one going out. And these are little times of, you know, our civil liberties are disappearing. And a little bit like now, you know, people coming out and they're making themselves heard one way or another. It doesn't matter if they're banging pots and pans or if they're putting stuff on social media. But the trouble with social media is it's a saturation of propaganda, and this propaganda I've showed you comes in the form of memes. It comes in the form of mainstream media manipulation, telling us one thing when people on the street are showing us a very, very different story. This is why people hashtag film your hospitals become a thing, because the stories at the hospitals aren't meeting the stories that we're hearing on the TV. You know, there doesn't seem to be any overwhelming wave of people showing up. There doesn't seem to be sirens or ambulances waving. There doesn't seem to be police cars, you know, clearing the way to ensure that there's a clear path for these ambulances with all these so-called victims. And as I said, I'm a little bit detached and unsure what's going on in England. I'm pretty sure over there that the British Brain Control Corporation, otherwise known as the BBC, will be calling the narrative in brainwashing folks. And how you brainwash somebody is to repeat over and over and over again to somebody the same message. And especially when somebody is in confinement, that message really doesn't take an awful long to get in. And this is, you know, you can look this up for yourself. This is CIA techniques in interrogation and in brainwashing, MK Ultra. This is how cults, you know, the love bomb and kind of, we just want to take care of you. We just need to keep you safe. It's just you. We need to look after you. But in order to do that, we need you to give up your freedoms and liberties. So anyway, let me see. We've been going 10 minutes because it is also a little bit late over there. So I'm going to get Colin on the phone. And it's actually been quite some time since I've phoned him. I did actually give Rosa the heads up, Colin, that you were going to be calling in. So I don't know where he is. So let me... Actually, no, I'm not going to video call. That's not going to work. Let me do the other one. All right. Sorry, I do got some sniffles here. I think it's the early signs of spring. Is it ringing? Yeah. Colin, can you hear me? I can, yeah. Oh, wait, I need to put you on speaker. That'll help a little bit. Say something now, Colin. Yeah, cool. Oh, sorry, I'm your Don Johnson now, right? No, that's cool. Colin, that's cool. Okay, let me get some volume. Stupid YouTube name. Okay, yeah, no, that's cool. I know how it is. So, bloody, I can't even remember the last time I spoke to you. I think it was not long before I got on the plane to come to Canada. Yeah, I know you originally left quite a while back, but then you did come back, I think. Was it one Christmas, possibly? Just after Christmas, I got deported from Cali, and I think you were one of the first people that I saw from after that experience. But talking of being a... Vince. Yeah, that was right, man. Seems like a life. It seems like yesterday, but at the same time, a different world. And by all accounts, Swindon, that's my hometown, and this is where Colin lives, in Swindon, sunny Swindon, the bright point of the universe. Center of the universe, yeah. It really, really is. And I don't know. Can you hear him okay in the TV in the chat? I'm just checking to see. Someone's boiling chicken. Let's get a bit of feedback on that. So guys, pay attention to this, because this is a guy from England, got very, 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 very knowledgeable individual, very gifted graffiti artist also. But we're talking a little bit about getting arrested, getting police put in prison. What happened to you the other day in England, and sort of maybe give a little bit of a background leading up to what's going on there to explain your situation?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I'll treat everyone like they're like idiots, I suppose, just so like I don't want to sort of like name drop or anything. I'm not really into a lot of this stuff, but I know, so I really want to talk on actual events that have happened rather than hearsay. But
yeah, no, I get you. That's what we try to do.
Wednesday was my birthday.
Belated happy birthday.
So yes. I mean, I suppose I should go back before that. So I'd say, 2 weeks ago, it was just normal. It's normal. Everything was kind of normal. We'd heard a few things, but life was normal here. Then, what's happening has like kind of happened here, and they laid a few guidelines down, and you were expected to decide whether those guidelines applied, and most people complied. I complied. My family complied, but it was quite vague. There was a lot of room. I mean, we were told that you could have 1 hour exercise. You could leave to go and buy essentials at the shop, and I chose that on my birthday I would use that hour exercise time to go and paint some graffiti at a legal graffiti site, which is kind of like, for me, tradition. So on my birthday, I've been painting graffiti for 30 years. It's part of doing graffiti has become my living, and I get paid for it, and I'm rather good at it. So
not just good, he's a Mac daddy.
But I mean, I just chose to go and paint legally, not illegally, that is.
So you weren't breaking any laws?
No, it was a site designated for graffiti.
Okay, so you're well within your rights.
I'll get to that in a bit. But I hadn't been there long. My missus dropped me off at the site. I also have a friend who lives within spitting distance of the site, and he regularly goes there because he lives in the area. I'd been there for about I suppose, I'd say 5 or 10 minutes. I'd unpacked all my paint, ready to paint. A dog walker walked by, gave me the stare of death. Looked like he wanted to cut my throat. So I kind of looked around the corner to see like if he was like doing anything or whatever, and not long after, my friend literally came round the corner, which was just it was odd because I'd been there 10 minutes, but I hadn't called him or anything. He was just leaving, I suppose, for a cigarette or exercise or whatever. Not far behind him was 2 police officers, and the dog walker had actually told the police that I was by this graffiti wall where people paint, and because my friend was there, we were about 30 feet apart. They avoided normal police protocol, which is usually to ask you for your details, and then you're well within your rights to decline, but obviously under the circumstances I just complied. But there was none of that. There was, I just had the cuffs put on me first, then had to give details, and my friend was then cuffed up. My friend, by the way, is a paramedic. He's an ambulance driver, and he is supposedly dealing with COVID-19 patients at the moment. So he's very much a key worker in all this. If you agree with this going on.
Yeah, the narrative, right?
The police. Yeah, the police. There was no gloves, there was no masks, there was no social distancing. They just came in, they slapped the cuffs on, because my friend was asking why this was happening. The police officer seemed to think that he was resisting. He gripped him, put the cuffs on behind him, which is in England there's a difference between
Yeah.
cuffs on the front and cuffs on behind. So if they put the cuffs on behind you, you are deemed a threat.
Exactly.
So I was complying, but all he'd said is, "Why is this happening?" And that was deemed as a threat. So he was put on with the cuffs behind him. But I mean, the long and short of this is we eventually got arrested for criminal damage, but my friend has nothing to do with it. He literally,
Right.
I mean, if didn't know the guy, he could have been any person that was just in that area while I was in that area.
Right, it just happened
And
that you knew him.
It just happened that I knew him, that he was caught up in it. But it could have been anybody. They would have
Right.
arrested them too. If they were 30 feet in, if they were within 30 feet of me, they would have got arrested as part of what was going on. So they would have got arrested for criminal damage. I had to basically, in the end, tell the police officer that this guy was just visiting this area. He wasn't with me. And if anyone's going to get arrested for criminal damage, it should be me. But I see that it's stupid because the street signed a petition, which I was part of, like redeveloping this tennis court with a wall. And it was deemed a legal site by the community, and that he ought to seek some information about that.
Right, okay.
Because currently I was being arrested. Because at this time I hadn't even done anything. I hadn't actually painted anything.
Right.
I was being arrested for not painting a legal site.
Right, so it's almost like arresting you before you've even done anything wrong. Almost like the thought police kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, but they were using this suspected act of criminal damage.
Right.
As a reason, really, for another arrest that they weren't telling me about. So what then happened was, because I told him that you were arresting me for not painting, he said, "Well, we've checked the website and it says that this site's a bit ambiguous." And I said, "Well, the site that you've checked, I know what the site is, and the site itself is ambiguous because it has no authority to it. It's just a man who's created a website that says he doesn't know whether the website's legal, and that would be because that man that created that website doesn't even live in the town that we're in."
Right.
So I basically, used my knowledge to wanted to be upfront. I said to the police, this really is an innocent act of me just coming out on my birthday, wanting to paint on a legal graffiti site, and you've been told that I'm here doing it by a dog walker. Because I basically just told him what I knew what had gone on. In the end, they unarrested us, but told me that the law now was allowed for exercise. You have to exercise in your immediate surroundings, in your area,
okay.
in your community.
And do they give you any guidelines?
It's a finable offence now.
Yeah, I heard of fines, but like how far is your local?
Well, where I wasn't local, but when I originally checked on the Friday what the law was, that law had changed by Monday.
Right.
Okay. But Wednesday was the day I'd gone out, so I hadn't checked it for about 5 days. But I don't understand why I should be checking what the law is, like I would check what the weather is.
No, exactly.
It just seems that laws here are changing, by the day, and it's just the fact that the normal police protocol that we are used to isn't what the normal police protocol is now.
Yeah, it's gone out the window, right?
On top of this, I don't know what the situation is where you are, but we have security guards on all shops now. We all have to stand 2 meters apart from each other. And there's even talk. So I'll just let you know that this isn't something, like I did say that I was going to be talking about actual things that I've experienced, but I'll just put a disclaimer in now that I have heard that in certain areas of the UK, through people's shopping bags and finding them if they don't have necessities. So not only it's not up to you to decide what is exercise, where you should exercise, what necessities are necessities. That's all decided by the police.
Right, and it's very much
you can be arrested for that.
a police state now. So let me just check the guys. So are you listening and paying attention in the chat tonight? So this is a guy that on his birthday went to a recreational site where it is illegal to paint graffiti, and a site that he was instrumental in making happen and making it so as people in our hometown could have somewhere to paint. And before the police even asked him any questions, they cuffed him. His friend, who I think we just lost you. I think so. Are you still there, Cole? Sounds like we've lost him. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh yeah, you're still there. So sorry, I was just like running it over, seeing what Rosa's here. I just noticed. So this guy,
easy Rosa, man.
He's out and about within his designated rights, which they told him, you're allowed to go out for an hour of exercise. Gone to paint some graffiti at the local graffiti site. Him and his buddy are cuffed without any warnings, without asking for identification. They didn't read you any of your rights or anything like that. Nothing. They just put your cuffs on.
Yeah, they didn't. They thought this social distancing as well was like that's gone out the window now. It's like we were told we had to social distance, but where the law's concerned, they don't have to. So theoretically, if I'd have had this COVID-19 that's everyone's got and is so widespread and spreading fast, I could actually have infected the entire police force here.
Right. The
way they're saying that it goes. So that all went out the window when it comes to sticking the cuffs on me.
So would I be right in assuming that you don't really believe too much about this virus as being as deadly as you're saying? There's something I've noticed here also, that there aren't as many, that they're saying that we're going to get as strict as the UK here in Canada, and already some places south of the border in the States, they're on lockdown for 30 days, shelter in place, which is kind of stuff they use for like tornado or weather, or dare I say even like kind of atomic bomb type drills, to kind of hide under the couch, 50s style, Cuba, Bay of Pigs and all that shit. But the narrative doesn't seem to be meeting up. I live like a stone's throw from a hospital. I'm not hearing sirens. I've done a little walkabout a couple of times. There doesn't seem to be any sign of, pandemic or victims. But none of the people that seem, there's a couple of nurses wearing masks, but that's not necessarily unusual at a hospital anyway. But it wasn't like everybody was wearing masks. And certainly here on the streets, you don't, considering we're supposed to be in a state of emergency in Ontario, people are treating it a little bit like a vacation. We're getting some warmer days after the winter here. People are out and about having fun. But they've introduced fines. I mean, you mentioned in England they've got fines, but now if you're in a public park, you can be charged $750 to $5,000 or face jail time. And you're talking about now that people are looking through your grocery bags. And I mean, this is hearsay, right? We don't know if this is factual or not, but I can well believe it, that people are looking through your groceries to see if you're buying actual essentials. And as I say, how do you know what is essential?
Yeah, if you've left the house, for whether you've left the house for good means. So, if you've just gone there to pick up some fags and a bottle of whiskey, that's not going to happen. I've heard other things as well. I don't know whether you allow. You want me to talk on what I've heard, or whether you want me to talk?
Yeah, no, because this is interesting because obviously I'm still very I'm from Swindon, born and raised, just like you, and it is my hometown. You still have an affiliation, but over here we're kind of hearing stories on the news of the death counts and that, but we don't really hear from people on the street.
Like I don't know who's heading. I don't know who's heading all this stuff. So someone is going to be getting it first somewhere, and someone eventually getting it last. So I don't know what stage you're at, but from what I've heard, I suppose I can prep you for what you may be seeing happening over there.
Right, yeah, for sure. Because we're about a week or two behind, I think.
I have heard from. Yeah, I mean, I've heard from pretty reliable sources of people that I know on my own Facebook that they are like demolishing a play park, a children's play park, because that is where the youth are gathering that are rocking the boat, so to say, by not abiding by the new law.
Right.
So if that, I suppose, I would imagine that if that works and they smash that down and just make it flat land, if they stop gathering there, they'll probably do that to all of the play parks or any area where people gather.
Right.
I would imagine. Also, there was talks of, I mean, this is by like a bit of Arsenal politician that I don't like, but for some reason, it must be that he's not elite enough to be
In the
shuffled
elites.
away with the rest of
Right.
the elites. So he's been stuck with the scumbags. Like, I've started to totally agree with some of the things that he's saying. He's obviously outing the rest of them, but like places up north, like the Blue Lagoon, the police are filling it, which is natural
Reservoir?
spots, like beauty spots.
Okay.
Yeah, the Blue Lagoon has been filled in with black dye by the police to stop people from going there, which is like a natural spot for.
Whoa, that's very bizarre. Why would they be doing that? Just to stop people looking at it because it's black and bleak, or that just seems very peculiar behavior. I don't see what kind of deterrent that is, because it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening though. I mean, he's outed people for saying it. I think I pretty much would believe what he's saying. On top of that, I mean, I think tonight's the first night I haven't heard the police helicopter go over my house.
And yeah, like
goes out.
These guys need to understand. Sorry, a second. Like our hometown, Swindon. It's not New York. It's not Toronto. It's not Los Angeles. Police helicopters are rare as fuck, right? They can't afford to be putting it out every night.
Also, I mean, the last time I saw any reports on our police helicopter, I mean, our police helicopter's kept in Devizes, which I don't know how many miles away that is from Swindon.
But 15
but
or
it's not
something.
in Swindon. The police helicopter is kept. Yeah, it's kept outside of Swindon, and it costs between £7,000 and £9,000 to put that up in the air. So I've seen a report in the paper about that, saying that sometimes they can't even justify sending it out for crime. So this has been out. I can distinctly remember it being 4 nights this week. It's been out, and this is the first night I haven't heard it. Not only that, I've heard, like I have witnessed it myself, but I've heard there's drones being sent out.
Drones, yeah, I've heard.
Well, so
I actually did see.
This is all behaviour that is just like, all at once. All this right is just crazy. I mean.
Yeah,
I can literally say my rights were not taken into consideration.
Oh, are you still there? That's a little bit confusing whenever we lost the link when we're talking about things about rights. But saying connecting, but guys, this is this is a real person in England. This isn't like, somebody making this shit up. This isn't, fake news or anything. This is just somebody hearing what real, accounts are going on over there. And none of it sounds nice. Colin, I've lost you, brother. It looks, I'm guessing you're still watching. So that was we'll let you get on because it is a little bit late over there if you want to still hang out in talking in the chat with the other guys, because also my hand was getting a little bit tired holding you up, but that's shocking. And like these guys kind of don't know our hometown. Like Rosa, I see you're there, we're Swindonians. It's a little small town, and we kind of grew up. We had one movie theater with 3 screens, a swimming pool, and a couple of amusement arcades. That was it. And to think, now that it's a police state, there are kind of helicopters flying overhead. You're not allowed to go into your friend, the next neighborhood. Imagine trying to, if you lived in like Queens, New York, and you weren't allowed to go into Brooklyn. Because that's not local enough. It's very, very disturbing. And I kind of did want to speak a little bit. I mean, we are nerds. We kind of grew up with our comic books, and I've mentioned many times Alan Moore, The Watchmen, and V for Vendetta. But this is also something else I mentioned was like 2000 AD in the judges. They kind of removed any like law enforcement or courts or anything like that, judges and that. They just made the policemen on the street judges who could sentence you there and then, even to death. And you hear things like, they're smashing down playgrounds, making them flat so people don't congregate there, and dyeing natural lakes black. That's just Wow, I don't even know why they are dyeing the lakes black. But Colin, thank you, brother. That was a very, very fascinating conversation. In a little insight as to what is really, really going on in England. And this is in just a kind of, I mean, Swindon's a pretty large town in English standards, but by, North America, you could pretty much drop it in Lake Ontario and it would disappear. It's not London, it's not Manchester, one of the largest cities, or Birmingham, where there is a high crime rate. This is a sleepy little town surrounded by farms. I don't know what's going on here. I can't get the chat up for some reason to see who's in there. Yeah, and there is that little bit of small town cop kind of mentality as well. But London was an hour away, but in terms of kind of mentality, it was. This is very strange. I can't get the comments up at all. Maybe if I come off the Wi-Fi. So, guys, what are you making of all of that? Hey, I just noticed Al's there and Clint Vic. Good to see you. All right, it was something's going on with my Wi-Fi, I think. Alrighty. I think I've got the comments now. Yeah, I seen John. Sorry about that. I was just saying, but I know it is getting a little bit late over there. But that was amazing information. They don't want anyone to go swimming because the virus can multiply and it can spread. I don't know. And we kind of mentioned the comet theory. In this, whether you dismiss it, whether you embrace it, that you have to kind of admit that if there was something coming towards Earth, then if we knew about it, then there possibly would be panic, chaos, anarchy, everything would go out of the window. Maybe this is a way of controlling us, but maybe more sinister than that, it is just a scam to remove rights. And maybe this is it. It's just we're there. We're not going to go back. The normal days are probably long gone. We don't want to doom and gloom it, but the picture we're sort of seeing is each and every week things seem to the goalposts change. It's going to be 2 weeks, we're going to shut down. Oh, you know what, we're going to another couple of weeks, and before you know it, these emergency protocols and procedures that are now replacing the old ways in law and in justice are going to be norm. And it was a little bit, we kind of joke and talk about, Emperor Palpatine, when he asked for emergency powers. Once he got given those emergency powers, he never relinquished them. And now pretty much all around the globe, governments are operating under emergency powers. States of emergencies are declared all over the place. And we are essentially in a period of martial law. Whether or not they want to tell us it is, it remains to be seen. They're not going to bring it out because it will bring alarm bells. So is this just a big smoke screen to prevent us from something else? And if you were to be staging an event, just like they staged an event back in that September in 2001 on a Tuesday morning, everybody was tuned in, ready for the second strike. Everybody sat around on their couch, around the office corners, wherever they were. They all tuned in and watched it together. We're all in the same place. We're all in the same situation. We're stuck at home. We're under quarantine. We're under martial law. All we've got to do is watch TV and social media. So with not so many people out on the streets, with YouTube removing the rights to be able to film live from your telephone or your cell phone. If you have a YouTube channel, you need 1,000 subscribers in order to do this from a phone. So what is that doing? They're censoring a hell of a lot of people. To get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube is no easy feat. It takes a lot of doing, and so millions and millions of people now can't record live, or maybe can't capture something that they're not supposed to be in, especially when they're in stay-at-home, shelter-in-place kind of orders. Then all they can really do is see what's in and around their front yard or their house. or what's been shown to them through the brain control machine. And the brainwashing, I keep making these little fun about, what the fuck don't you understand about stay in? This is part of the brainwashing. People who are posting that and putting these little things out and about on their social media sites, they're the ones that have been brainwashed. They're the ones that have been programmed to accept this is like, oh, it's just for our safety, we need to do it. And that's when the propaganda is working, when people start crying out for their own enslavement. You've got to keep us safe, please. We'll do anything, just keep us safe from the boogeyman. In this case, it's fucking a virus that doesn't seem to be as deadly as they're saying. And by the definition of the World Health Organization, has a 98% survival rate. And do we need to shut down the world for something that is pretty much a rebranded common cold? So, take of it what you will. There is a comet on its way, to come close to, I don't think it's going to hit Earth, but it is supposed to come a little bit close to Earth. But that's not to say there isn't a staged event that they're trying to plan or prepare for, and this is what we're doing. This is what they're putting the 5G up to control Project Bluebeam, as a power source. If they're going to project maybe UFOs or aliens or something, remember the visitors come and they were our friends. We're already, watch the Watchmen, which I mentioned many times in the story. The Watchmen, the world is literally about to self-destruct, but in this storyline, it is due to nuclear war. The United States and the Russians both got their fingers on the button, ready to launch it. And then the main character, Osmanides, who had planned it all. He had planned every aspect of this out. The Russians and the Americans going at everything he had planned meticulously came to be. And his end game was staging a psyop of a large scale in the city of New York, where he produced a big giant alien from another dimension, and it was a fake alien, but it killed 5 million people in the process. But this was the event that kind of made the Ruskies and the Americans put down their weapons, come together and face the threat from above. Ronald Reagan, back in 1984, I believe, we've spoken about this before, he said something, I'm not going to go whatever it is, quote him word for word, but he went on to say something within his speech, I could imagine how the world would come together if we faced an extraterrestrial threat. And this was during the Cold War, when the Watchmen was contemporary piece of work at the time. And he also launched the Star Wars project. Now, a year or so ago, maybe 18 months, we had the introduction of Space Force. Elon Musk seems to be sending rockets up at a whim, the real life Tony Stark. And this is, the predictive programming. And this is why things like the Avengers and the Endgame and all this has been pumped into people, in the apocalypse and the Walking Dead and zombies. This has all been part of the programming, and kind of normalizes this. So, I noticed Colin saying stuff, if you're, on his Facebook feed, if you're one of those this, every night you sit down and watch Netflix and chill with your Pinot Grigio and your Beyond Meat Thai noodles that aren't gluten, contain no gluten, then you're probably loving this. Oh, it's great. It's just like Netflix and chill, but every day. And they want you to Netflix and chill every day because that's how they can trace you. That's how they can subdue you. That's how they can brainwash you with this shit. This is why things like Black Mirror have been popular. This is why they brought back the Twilight Zone and stuff like that. Black Mirror was programming you to accept this is the norm. And people, it's just like Black Mirror. Oh, it's like that movie, 1984 a little bit. Yeah, it's cool. And Alexas and these things that are in the wall, spyware everywhere. We are living, we've gone past the Orwellian moment, right? We've been living that. And it is the data that they have collected from the last decade or so of smartphone technology that has given them the information to calculate and target us with this manufactured event. It has been designed exactly to sway the majority of people into relinquishing their civil rights and liberties because they're so afraid of the boogeyman, in this case, the coronavirus. So what kind of thoughts do you got on that, folks? I don't know, I haven't really been paying too much attention to your comments tonight. So it's nearly 7:30 actually. I wonder if the other guys are going to come out and bang their pens at 7:30 tonight. I'm nobody special, but certain words triggers certain alarms. Information is being collected. None of us are, and you know that's why we like real people. You know, real is real does on this channel. John Donson, I love that. But everybody out there that's watching is a real folk. They're just people at home. They're afraid. They maybe not knowing what to think, but real people are the ones that have we don't have any sponsors to please. We don't have any agendas or narratives to push. We're just seeing it as we do, and we all have still up until now have free and independent thought. We don't necessarily have to believe what we're being told, but if you kind of question it, we get ridiculed. You know, those crazy tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists and their stupid conspiracy theories. They just don't grasp the situation. COVID is real. It's much worse than the flu. Why the fuck don't you understand about stay the fuck home? Those kind of people. These are the ones that have been bred and programmed to accept this, people. And maybe it's too late. Maybe it is too late for them. And maybe it's, you know, we're heading towards something that we're not going to come back from, and this is the new norm. This is what we've got to get used to. It is a little bit of a disturbing and scary prospect, as much as we want to try and avoid ourselves and distract from this as much as we can here on TSP TV. Sometimes we do have to grasp what's going on. We don't want to be the ostrich with its head in the sand. We don't want to get caught short, or you know, we don't want to be blind. We must be mindful to what's going on around us. And that was it. And it was the fact that you were a little bit intelligent and had some smarts that you were able to outsmart the cops. And the end of his story was they actually drove him home in the end. So he didn't get arrested and dragged off to any FEMA or detention camps. But that is very, very like just disturbing. That John Snowden shit, and this is something I'll also tell you, Rosa. No one blows any whistles that aren't meant to be heard, and John Snowden probably was all part of the plot. You know, they're all on. He was a CIA agent, and there are such things as double agent. And we were talking just the other day about how people the sheep dip process. Timothy McVeigh, he was a very, very, very skilled and gifted military personnel. He was a sniper. He was tapped up for you know, special ops and stuff like this, Navy SEALs. He was the fucking real deal GI Joe, motherfucker. But this guy, all of a sudden, when he was at the height of his career and could have picked and choose any path within the military, or even he'd been requested to do special black ops for government agencies, he gives that all up. And he was at Ruby Ridge, he was at Waco, and he turns up in Oklahoma City with a U-Haul filled with explosives, if you want to believe the narrative. But he was part of an operation called PACCOM, and PACCOM was something known as Patriot Conspiracy, and it was an CIA-run project in the 90s to infiltrate the United States militias. They wanted to see what the militias were up to, if there were any kind of governmental takeovers planned, in pretty much what kind of weaponry they are having. And they believe that Timothy McVeigh infiltrated a government agent, not a government agent, a local militia, and with his sort of influence and knowledge and military background, he was able to influence in possibly bring other individuals in his patsies to help him out with the you know, staged event of Oklahoma City, because just like 9/11, none of it makes sense, and there's lots of physical impossibilities within the official narrative of that day. But John Snowden, he, in my opinion, is somebody that was sheep dipped. He was the whistleblower, and like we say, no one blows any whistles that ain't meant to be heard, and nobody leaks anything that wasn't meant to leak. He got out to kind of, you know, they have a little bit of guilty conscience, so they kind of like to let you know what they're doing, a little bit like the anime character Lupin the Third. He's the world's greatest thief. And basically he picks out very rich and wealthy individuals within his comic book world, and he tells them, hey, I'm going to come and steal this from you. try stop me. And it's a little bit what, you know, the criminal mastermind. This is a little bit what we're up against, the criminal mastermind of evil bankers in a big corporation owners that sway the pool of governments into doing what they want. And you look at companies like Amazon, for example. Amazon, they're raking everything in now because everything's contactless. Everything's got to be delivered to your home now. You've got to go out on your front porch and pick it up. You can't go to the grocery store. You have to do everything through a delivery service, which is all online, which is all being tracked, all being traced. Is providing data, is providing knowledge and information to somebody, to the people that are. And this is what I'm saying. This is a big cloak for something, a very, very big cloak for something, John. Kind of showed that in the flick. I spoke to a friend who works at Amazon. He said record sales and workforce can even cope. Exactly. So what they've done is they've cut out all the local little individual businesses. It's like fucking Demolition Man. Do you remember when every restaurant was Taco Bell? In this case, everything's going to be Amazon. And a little while ago, actually, The Simpsons did an episode. I haven't actually seen it. Roger, my roommate, told me all about it. He goes, "Oh my God, you've got to see this. It'll feed your conspiracy mind." But within this episode of The Simpsons, everybody went to school to learn and get an education in order to work for Amazon or Uber. And who's delivering all of these foods as well? Uber. Who's not getting money? People like myself. My restaurant had to close down. I've been out of work. We know Hoopdies and quite a few of you watching have been put out of work. Well, we all have different views and beliefs here. Sings a lot. Some of us believe in God. Some of us don't believe in God. As you know, I'm an atheist, but I have nothing against anybody who chooses to practice whatever faith they want. You can believe anything you want in that respect. And kind of respect the right that people also have the right not to believe in it or choose to believe something different. So, Amazon, I even showed you yesterday that picture of the dude. Have I still got it up? I don't think I have. I cleared it out of my file this morning. But the guy with the sign, it's like, yeah, so it might be bad to close a company for 3 or 4 months, but it's even worse to close a coffin on someone for life. But he did this in a car park, and at the bottom of his little message, it said stay home. But he was in a car lot outside a big Amazon factory. The Amazon is a subliminal, it's the product placement. And that's what I told you, 3M. I'm pretty sure 3M's profits might be soaring at the minute, or, they're just creating the demand for their N95 masks. So you got a fucking warehouse stacked to them somewhere, just waiting for the moment that the demand's that high, they can raise the profits. Well, as I said, that Laurie, we've all got the right to kind of believe what we want. No one's saying you're right or wrong. But what we are looking at is what's going on now, and in looking at the people that are kind of in, with any crisis, there's always somebody that is going to profiteer from a crisis. And at the minute, they've kind of extinguished pretty much everything except for large big chains like Walmart, Target in England, Tesco, Sainsbury's. I'm pretty sure they're still open, but the little mom and pop shops, the small independent restaurants, these places are probably struggling. And again, well, if I could give an answer, it might not be the answer you want, Sings a lot, but I don't think you necessarily need a God to distinguish between what is right and wrong. Let's look at what's going on at the moment. Many of us, I think, that are watching here, we all have different belief systems, but we can say what's going on is wrong. We're having our civil liberties and freedoms removed on the back of a common cold, and there's already been lots and lots and lots of reports of media misinformation and staged events. So is this right? Are we being treated rightly? Is our government treating us in the best possible way, by doing this to us and, claiming that they're protecting us? But what have they really, really done? Is this right or is this a wrong situation? There are some people to say, oh, well, yeah, they're doing everything right. Look what happened in China. And stay the fuck home. What part of that don't you understand? Those kind of people probably think that this is right, but that's probably because they've been brainwashed into believing this. And you got to believe me, guys, that people are being brainwashed and manipulated, and this is exactly what the mainstream media are doing. Many of us here, we're fortunate, we're awake, we've been awake for a little while. This is why we prep, this is why we have pantries, this is why we kind of hang out together, because we have a suspicious mind, and we have reasons to believe that there are powers to be that are unseen, that are kind of leading us to where they want us to go. And even though we may not be the sheeple, we can't escape the flock, so to speak. If the internet goes, then yeah, well, that could possibly be the next thing. I did notice a little bit in the last day or so, Facebook seems to be a little bit slow, as does the uploading process on YouTube. It doesn't seem to be as swift as it once was, but then again, there are a lot of people home, everybody's on the internet, and this is a lot of kind of data collection for people. Anyway, guys, we've had nearly an hour of almost doom and gloom and food for thought. Anyone want to kind of add anything on what we have been saying? I'm sorry, I haven't really been paying that much attention to your comments, but I will pay a little bit of attention to you now. Who knows how long this show's gonna go on for tonight? We could almost pull an all-nighter. I'm in my pajamas. What about Rosa, are you in your pajamas, brother? I would love to see you. I'm kind of picturing you in my head now, because these guys, they don't know what you look like, but I do. But I can see you in a big red onesie with built-in pink fluffy bunny slippers and a big mug of cocoa. Yeah, you too, man. Kind of when you have those, you just pick up where you left off kind of thing, and like the years kind of disappear. So weirdo. Yeah, definitely. Well, I do go live each and every day. You can kind of catch us, although time zones don't always permit. And a lot of the time, brother, we have nothing but fun and games here. We talk. I don't know if you've met Little Sings a Lot, our regular Darcy. Sometimes we make a lot of fun in jokes about her undercarriage. And when she was at school, she used to give dumpster tuggies to the popular boys. Mafia Wars Day. A child molesting, touching a kid is right. Who can say if? But that's that's a good example. I think pretty much everybody would say that was a wrong act. But the weirdos that are in control think it's perfectly normal, and then once they've kind of had their wicked way, they like to eat them. Lockdown connection going. Elmel needs a new tattoo. Yeah, John Donson. I haven't met you, introduced you. Here she is. It's not the real Almal, it's rubber Almal. So I gave her a couple of teardrops, and I even give her some liner on the lipstick. What do you think about my Sharpie makeup for Almal? I tried to make her, and eyeliner actually. I give her some smoky eyes. Tried to make her a little bit more pretty, but that's my There she is there. Look. Hang on. And I don't know if you've seen it, but I drew, she didn't have any holes, so I drew a Sharpie coochie and butthole on rubber almond. So there you go, there's some rubber coochie. Hey, the only thing smart in your house is you, Laurie, you. You see what I did there? But yeah, you're a smart cookie, you come and hang out at the thrift store, so you're among smart company. I like to think we're all smart. Who's John Donson? That's Cole. That's Acme, Rosa. And some of you got actually, Colin, while you're here, brother, you should fucking make a YouTube channel while you're off, teaching people how to fucking graffiti. You'll get a lot of subscribers because you are. He kind of makes Banksy look shit. And I know he's my friend and all, but that is actually pretty accurate. Fuck Banksy. Acme. If you grew up in Swindon, everybody knew Acme was. You thought so. No, Joe, it just cut off and I can't even get the screen working. But thinking of that, I just realized maybe one day I could twist your arm, Cole. You could possibly do me a little TSP TV graffiti logo. That would be fucking sweet as. So anyway, you guys saw the rubber coochie. Did you get to see my rubber doll? That's what some of the stuff my customers, they're not customers, they're viewers. But that's some of the things that these people send to me, Cole. Believe it or not, I got strange women from Texas sending me rubber dolls. Where is she, the real Almel? She needs to come here. So, ladies, what did you think? I brought you another accent to enjoy. What did you think of John Donson's English accent? It's funny, brother. You sound so like, I don't know. Rosa said to me the other day that I sound a little bit Canadian, but when I spoke to you then, like I haven't heard a Swindonian accent in like 8 years. Other than like my family from time to time, but wow, sounded weird kind of hearing. I haven't heard that, when you kind of grow up and you hear that all the time, each and every day. It just sounds so. I almost got that American. Whoa, you've got a cool accent type deal. Sounds like a bumpkin. That's right, you are, because we're a little bit Wurzel like round in Wiltshire, where the apples grow. It's Colin. So John Donson is Colin. How many times have you looked at that? I show you at least once or twice. She gets crumpled up and shoved in the cupboard. You puffering. We are puffering now. Sing. Oh, they are. Guess what, people? The pan bang's going on. Okie dokie. Look, there's a sunset. So they come out twice. Oh, wow. I thought they might. I forgot all about that. I don't want to go too far. I'm in my pajamas. Look. I'm not sure if that's the local MILF. I don't think it is, no. There's a bit of a MILF in my neighbourhood. Maybe I'll catch her on film one day. She's got a little Italian greyhound, cracking little ass in her leggings. Maybe people got a little bit upset that they already come out. They only wanted to, all right, now they're getting loud. See, that's what I'm saying. It's Saturday night. They could at least let the kids. That's guys coming out, so it might go off. It might kick off, guys. My pen's round the front. I don't want to go and get it because I'm in my jammies. Do you know what? We should stick around to 8:30 and go out and do it again. I don't think we have any luck. Alrighty, let's leave them to it. Bless them. That's my dirty little bathroom in there. I left the toilet seat out. That's the great thing about not being married or having a girlfriend. You can leave the toilet seat up and piss all over the seat if you want. That's all. What have I done to my camera thing? Sorry, guys. Got a little bit of a ski whiff there. I love the NHS, but they're just proving it can't sustain itself with a fake illusionary virus toeing the line. Yeah, that was something I noticed actually. I saw a video from Swindon, and I will mention a little bit of how maybe they're programming the population of England. And every night at 8 o'clock in England, I'm guessing this is around the nation. Maybe Rosa and John Donson, will confirm this for me if it's all over the nation or just in Swindon. But I think it's across the country that everybody comes out at 8 o'clock and they all clap for the NHS. Now, the NHS, as great as they are, they do a great job. They're very underfunded. Some of these poor workers there, they don't earn an honest wage and work all kinds of hours of day. We've got a couple of guys here in the medical industry themselves that watch this channel, and they are true heroes, and they're in the front lines, but they are nonetheless still a government or a wing of the government. The government provides the NHS to the public with tax, and we in the United Kingdom, you think the NHS is free, but we have to make NHS contributions each and every month from our wage packet, which gets taken out. We don't get the option to pay it, just like our taxes here in North America, in the States and Canada. Once a year we have to pay our taxes. Not in England. They take that shit right out of your paycheck before you even get it. They're not going to risk you having to what's the word I'm looking for? Honor system and just voluntarily give them your income tax. They take it from you along with the NHS contributions, but they've kind of programmed everybody a little bit in England to go outside and applaud the NHS at 8 o'clock. How long is it going to be before we have to go out and applaud the one true dictator? The dictator is good. The dictator is good. Remember that episode of the season? It wasn't the New Davidians. That was Waco. But there was a cult in The Simpsons one time, and everybody in The Simpsons got drawn under the cult except for Homer. And at first they thought it was because Homer was so brilliantly intelligent that their mind washing program wasn't good enough for him. But it was only because Homer was just that dumb. He was too dumb to be programmed. But the dumbing down of society has prepared people, and even The Simpsons has played a very, very, very big part in a role in the dumbing down of society. And it's also played a role in the suspended animation. Now, Rosa, Colin, myself, we all kind of grew up together through the same, there's a year or two difference between us in age groups, so we're the same age at the same time. But we all kind of hit adulthood at the same time. And unlike my mother and my father and probably their mothers and fathers who had them when they were very young, my mum had me when she was 21. I was 27, 28 before I had a serious long-term relationship, which was the person I eventually married, and we didn't have, kids until we were in our 30s. And part of that was because our generation, the Gen Xers, and particularly boys, we were programmed, and I know this for a fact because this is my first-hand experience. I was a comic book growing up as a kid. Comic books and action figures, they were my life. But it gets to a point where you kind of put those toys down, but not so much in Generation X's case, because we were the generation that had the best fucking cartoons on a Saturday morning. We had the arcade games. We were the first generation that had Atari, ColecoVision, Vectrex, some of these old school, even the basic Pong. But we were the first generation that were introduced to that. But we had those fucking cartoons and we had those movies. But by the time the 80s kind of disappeared, and there wasn't a time greater than the 80s for music and cartoons and possibly music. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but we had such great pop culture, and it was possibly one of the first decades that things were targeted as kids. We probably didn't realize it so much, but at the time, Saturday morning cartoons were essentially just 30-minute commercials for children. They'd watch G.I. Joe, they'd watch Transformers, they'd watch Inspector Gadget, they'd watch He-Man, and they'd want the toys that accompanied this TV shows, and that was the purpose of them. And also within the movies, and the film E.T., if you go back and you look at the movie E.T., everything, it doesn't kind of make sense because it was a single mum, 3 kids, the dad had left. We had rumors that he was in Mexico, which only can kind of suspect that we were, he shacked up with a little Latina lover and left. Can't remember the lady who played Elliot's mum, but she was a single mum living, trying to make ends meet, bringing up 3 kids. but they had the fucking best Star Wars toys. He had a fucking Kuwahara BMX, and that was that's like owning a fucking Benz or an Aston Martin. If you knew anything about BMX bikes, and Kuwaharas weren't BMX bikes, and they had two in that family. That was like fucking $500 worth of bikes. Not only that, they had the Atari, they had all the games, they had Dungeons and Dragons. There's no way that single mum had the fun, unless she was turning tricks and giving dumpster tuggies of her own when she wasn't a waitress. But there was no way that she could have afforded all those toys. But those toys in that movie were product placement. I literally fucking cried for an E.T. Kuwahara BMX bike until somehow my dad managed to get me one for the local bike shop. And honestly, I used to put my Walkman on in the E.T. soundtrack and just drive around on my BMX all over my little town, pretending I was trying to rescue E.T. But towards the end of the 80s and as the 90s dawned, The Simpsons. And The Simpsons was a cartoon that was designed for adults, but in particular, it was designed for the 80s kids that were turning into adults. And The Simpsons was like a Saturday morning cartoon, but at night for grown-ups. And The Simpsons was like the gateway into suspended animation, because all of a sudden we're still watching cartoons, but at night. And over the years, South Park, Family Guy, American Dad, King of the Hill, adult cartoons saturated mainstream TV. This is how the suspended adolescence took control. Not only that, by the time I was 25, they relaunched fucking Star Wars. Oh my God, I'm a kid again. I can get Chewbacca, Stormtrooper, R5D4 with a stethoscope. Fuck yeah, I'm signing that. And I used to spend more money, believe it or not, on fucking Star Wars figures and comic books than I ever did on weed. I spent fucking 10 times as much on comic books, toys, and collectibles as an adult. Even when I was in my 30s, I was still buying action figures and comic books. This was the suspended adolescence. This is why we waited until we were in our 30s, until we had kids. What else this did is, I wasn't alone. A lot of people went down that road. And, Colin, he knows he's got some fucking action figures, and a lot of kids, the Monday Club at the comic shop. These boys, they're still collecting, right? I'm not saying it's wrong. It's right. It's good to have little hobbies, and it was a good time. But this was how we didn't grow up. And by not growing up, we didn't educate ourselves in worldly knowledge, unless you broke out of the program and went a little bit further than the street down, the park at the end of your street, and seen what was out in the world and seen stuff for yourself. But it kept us in a trap. And in that trap, I got married and all that stuff. It didn't work for me. I was a square peg. That life, I just couldn't function within it. Somehow, some way, and I operate better on my own. Only records now. I literally did have a shed full, right? You're not, these guys seen my shit. I would make fucking fanboys cry with some of my collection. I almost wish I didn't just give it to Colin, because I know he would have been a guy that would have loved and cherished it, but I needed the dollar, and it's selling my collection that brought me to Canada after I got deported from the States. In Guy, I've talked a little bit about my time incarcerated in Los Angeles County, and unfortunately for me, I got sent to fucking maximum security. That isn't fun. Luckily for you guys, Rosa, you're a bit of a big black dude. If you do get rounded up and sent to fucking prison, you'll probably be able to run a wing just on intimidation alone. But then there might always be that wise guy that comes in and tries to take the biggest guy out, to be tough. But everything's temporary. But how long is it going to be before what's in your groceries? Wait, Darcy, why do you need 2 bags of tampons? You bought 1 box of tampons last month. You're not allowed to. What are you doing with these tampons? You're going to the slammer. Next thing you know, you're coughing and spreading, and a guy's got a flashlight up your butt. So lucky for you, Colin, they didn't arrest you and take you off to a detention center and shine a flashlight up your butt. Oh my God, I got a horror. Did I ever tell you the story about, maybe I will. It's not happening. But I'll tell you a little funny story. Let's get out of the doom and gloom of the world that which we live in. Let's try and escape a little bit. And I'll give you a little bit of a funny jail story. I don't often give jail stories, because sometimes they actually sort of take me to a little bit of a place that I don't like to go. Brings up some memories that just chains of events. But talking about shining and flashing a flashlight. So first of all, I got put in to the LA County jail system because I was picked up public intoxication and an assault charge, which is a violent crime, and that is very, very critical to the story because of that assault crime, which was a level 7 crime. That meant I was level entry to Supermax, which is where I eventually went, but not before I went through processing. So for a couple of days, I was in like a drunk tank at a local police station in the city of Torrance, and they sent me off to court. So I got arrested on a Friday night. Monday morning, I had to stay there until Monday morning when I went to court. Now, if you've ever been arrested in England, court's pretty much like you go tell the judge what you know, not guilty, and he lets you go and gives you a trial date you have to go back to. And they don't really send people to jail or prison unless it's a kind of serious crime, but not in the States. In the States, you go to jail for the slightest of things. It is a prison state, and prison is an industry. But anyway, when I got to court on the Monday morning, over the process of the weekend, the Torrance police had deciphered that I wasn't a native to the United States. I had no documentation or identification on me. They contacted immigration. Immigration put a stamp on me, which meant I couldn't go anywhere. And on the public defender that gave me like 2.5 minutes advice said, just plead not guilty, but you're going to go to jail. There's no way you're getting out of jail. There's an immigration stamp. If you get bail, immigration are going to pick you up and arrest you. You can't do any alcoholic. You can't do a plea bargain with the judge to plead guilty and get yourself out of this today, because you won't be able to carry out your sentence if you're in immigration. You're going to jail. And without a doubt, that moment was the most, like, that was my shit hitting the fan moment for me right there. And for the next, 4.5, 5 months, I lived each and every day in absolute fear of my life, traumatized. Not only that, kind of trying to come to the reality that the life that I'd made for myself in Southern California, life that I was very happy with, was over. It's coming to an end. All the people that I'd come to love and see each and every day, I was never going to see any of those again. And I kind of had to hold my shit together in a very, very tough environment, probably one of the toughest environments you could imagine outside of warfare. But the only thing I could do was plead not guilty and take the case to trial. That was my one and only option. But I had to remain in jail during the trial process, right? So what you have to do is they assign you into a dormitory. So I eventually got sent to the Pitches facility, Supermax. Very, very scary place. Very high rise, kind of the pod kind of jail places where you have like 8 little pods around a center unit in multi levels, and there's about 120 inmates in each pod. So a very, very, very horrible little place to live. But when you're going to court and you're fighting fighting your case or going to trial, you have to go to and from jail to the courthouse, to and from the courthouse. Very long procedure. They like wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You have to sit around 6 o'clock in the morning. The bus takes you to Central Jail in LA. Then 8 o'clock in the morning, you get picked up on a bus to get taken to your representative city, because LA is made up of lots and lots of different cities, right? So you have to go to the city from which you were charged in. So back and forth, and this in itself generates money for the state. Every time they put a prisoner on a bus and send him to and from a correctional facility to court and back, they get money for each and every individual. I did this about 3 or 4 times. I went back, they speak to you. What do you plead? Not guilty. Okay, back to jail. Come back 2 weeks. What do you plead? Not guilty. Okay, come back 2 weeks. And in one time in particular, I was coming back, very long day. I'd been in court all day, very, very stressful experience all round. And when you come back, then you actually have to strip everything off. Every time you leave the jail and come back into the jail, you have to strip off. So I got off the bus with 40 or so other inmates that had been to court with me that day, and we went back through the processing. It's like going through processing all over again, except they just assign you back to your bunk. But same thing, you're cuffed to everybody, you shuffle in, and then you go into a room. And in the room, they go around and take the cuffs off, and then you have to strip absolutely bollock naked, right? Everybody has to strip off. You have to put all your clothes and face the wall, and then one by one, the cop walks around. You have to bend down, cough, pick your bollocks up, make sure there's nothing underneath them, open your mouth. If you've got hair, they go through it. So he's going around one by one by one by one. He gets to me, and you know that really and truly, that is the most degrading moment in your life, when you've got a fucking room full of naked men, and then a guy with a flashlight and another guy watching him, looking up your asshole, telling you to cough. Yeah, not a very, very, very nice experience at all. But he passed me, and he's still going round and round and round, and he gets to a guy like, bend down, bend the fuck down, bend down, bend down. This guy wouldn't bend down. He wouldn't bend down. He was resisting. So the other CO, the other correctional officer, he come over, and they're trying to push this guy down, and he's resisting. Fair play to him, fair play to him. But once they finally got him down on the ground, there was a sound that was very disturbing. It wasn't like the sound of a skull getting cracked or arms snapped or broke. It was like a homeboy had been fucking clenching a whole buttload of diarrhea in his ass until the time was right. And when the guys had fucking got him down on the ground, he fucking diarrheaed over them both. But also the smell that was absolutely revolting and disgusting. But the sound, and then the kind of sort of splat that it made. Obviously, shit literally went down. The guy got a little bit of I'm just reading a couple of comments out of the corner of my eye, see if I've got any rolling faces. But this is actually something that a lot of prisoners, it's known as gassing, and gassing, if you're an inmate, is when you usually like piss or shit in a cup, and you save it up for a little while, and when a guard comes around, you'll throw it over them. Or in this case, he kind of had like his own kind of sort of organic flamethrower, so to speak, that spurted out his little stream of thing. But classic punchline to an amazing joke. So anyway, shit all over them. He did shit all over them, and that is, I don't know if we should take inspiration from this individual, but if they come and round you up, then try to shit on them, guys. Do you know what I mean? So that is something that prisoners, and Jesus, when you get sent to the hole, there's even like some people that like start writing with it over the windows and the doors, and some prisoners will actually use it as like a self-defense system. They will kind of cake it in their hair or rub it all over their clothes, and because nobody wants to touch the guy that's caked in shit. Organic flamer. Hello, Maida Montana. You're killing me, man. So we do try to get a little bit of, oh God, I could try and think of some other prison stories if I can. But that was just, that one's going with me to the grave, right? That was like, at that moment, you kind of like, from you guys, you're just hearing it firsthand, but I was kind of there. I was almost as helpless as this guy, and like some inmates did get some liquid fecal matter splashed on. I was lucky enough not to, but at that time it's like, do you laugh, do you cry, what do you do? Is this fucking even real? Did I just see a fucking man squirt shit all over two officers? Or you know, you don't know if, in this little bit like now, you know, we look around outside and like, is this fucking real? Are we really quarantined? Is this how it's going to be? Cricket Lulu, hello. Probably not the best of stories to have been listening to while you were cooking dinner there, Cricket. You got to kind of, I don't know, they shit on us, right? It doesn't hurt to shit on them once in a while if you can and well. They kind of like everyone had to that was the thing, everyone has to lie down, everyone has to lie, so you're bollock naked on a fucking cold concrete, and like some of the guys are trying to like wriggle away from the pool of diarrhea, and like one of the guards was still kind of holding the guy down, and the other one kind of was beating him a little bit, and at the same time they kind of didn't want to touch him, and he was like wriggling around and like an eel, and it's kind of like spreading it about a little bit, but everybody else had to lay face down, and kind of that's the lockdown position. When you go in lockdown in jail, everyone has to go face down. At least it wasn't as scary as like I was in a couple of riots in the first time. Jesus Christ, there ain't nothing prepares you for a full-on jail riot. But it seemed like an eternity when it's going on. But the correctional officers, they come in, they like shoot tear gas. They got paintball guns with tear gas, the little pellets have got tear gas in, and they've got laser sightings as well. But before they come in, they threw flashbangs into the dorm, and like boom boom. And like when that happens, like you literally fall down anyway, and then obviously the sort of pepper spray and that gets in the air, and you start sort of coughing and spluttering, and everyone, you know, you go face down, hands in your face. But I kind of looked up and around, like once like that explosion shock, you kind of like have that moment like in the movies. I was like looking around, what the fuck, you know. A couple of seconds ago I'm seeing inmates like biting each other to pieces and stabbing toothbrush shanks in people's faces, and then there's a boom, and then out of nowhere the fucking laser sighting through. That was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. It's like the fucking Terminator, just those laser sightings through the smoke. Yeah, my pupper flapped a little bit then. Every game, same thing. Everybody lies down. You have to put on the floor, and then they cuffed us to our bunks for like 4 hours. And then like it was fucking horrible, bro. Like I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 people may have died. There was a lot of like the Hispanics and the blacks went at it. And sorry, I don't want to sort of sound as though I'm like racist. This is like fucking prison politics. You can't, like, I'm white. I had to roll with the whites, and the majority of the whites were, I'm not, you know, neo-Nazis. You know, actually a couple of them weren't that bad. Swastikas on the faces aside, you know, they seemed like, you know, it's kind of weird when you kind of talk to them, they drop the guys a little bit. You kind of see them like not as the neo-Nazis, but you know, if you're black, you have to roll black. If you're Hispanic, you have, this is where it gets trouble. If you kind of Hispanic on this side of the border, you roll homie. If you roll Hispanic from the other side of the border, you run paisa, and paisas are like the paisanos. And then you've got the border brothers. So homies in paisa are Mexican. Border brothers are like your Nicaraguans, your Salvadorians, your Hondurans, those type. But these 2 black dudes, they were a couple of Crips actually. Seems funny, a boy from Swindon hanging out with Crips and Bloods in Aryan Brotherhood. But these 2 black chaps, they were talking loud. And at 10 o'clock, it's lights out. And these 2 guys were talking a little bit louder than they should. You can talk, but you have to talk quietly. But these guys were making a lot of noise, and all of a sudden, like that, the home is like, "Yo, you need to be radioing that shit, fool!" And radio means be quiet. I think once upon a time when they used to have radios in the prison, like loved ones would send messages. So when the prison hour was on, like you had to keep quiet because everybody wanted to listen if their message was on. So that's kind of a radio means be quiet if you're in the slammer. And it carried on back and forth. Yo, you need to radio that shit. Anyway, the fucking head of the home, the Mexican dude, the head of the homies, he gets up and he goes over to the head of the blacks, goes, "You need to be calling your people into line, or my people are gonna put you into line." And in this dorm, I think there was 120 of us, and there were like 12 white people in all of that. And white people have to roll with the Hispanics. If there's any trouble, then whites become a Hispanic by association, so to speak. So everybody's lining up out of nowhere. People are jumping out of bunks. Fucking people at the shanks are coming out. I'm like, oh my God, is this fucking real? This is happening right like there. Like my bunkies jumped up, and he was a black dude. He was above me. We were like sort of chatting a few minutes earlier, and all of a sudden he's up ready to go. Lucky enough, me and him kind of sort of wrestled with each other. He goes, just make it look real. We kind of wrestled, because if you don't get involved, then you're going to get a fucking beating by the boys for not getting involved once it's all done and dusted. But it went from like, yo, fool, tell your people, yo, fool, you tell your people, I don't need to tell my people, to bam, 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 pop, 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 tap, 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 tap. In seconds, fucking bunks were going, tables flying, and I talked to a little bit about being a football hooligan, and I've been to some of the most terrifying football stadiums in England, but this shit, there ain't nothing that provides you for that. But once the fucking flashbangs come in, and then the fucking laser sightings, that was more terrifying than the shankings and the fightings and the maybe a little bit of shock, deer in the headlight kind of thing may have come into play. But that was just, good God, horrible, horrible, horrible moment. But then they led us down for like 4 hours, and in that time they come in, they dragged out the people that was injured. Then a cleanup crew come in and bleach, because there's fucking blood everywhere. Like I've never seen so much blood really in one place at one time. And pretty much half the wing, half the people in that dorm were pretty fucked up. Even if they took just a little jab, or some of them were probably struggling for their lives. But anyway, there's a couple of prison stories for you folks. Get yourself a Stanley. If you believe the official narrative, you're an Islamic fundamentalist, you can hijack an entire airliner with one of those. Make it look real. Well, that's the thing. Like, you will get kicked to fuck if you don't if you don't join in. Like, once the dust settles and everybody's been dragged out, relocated, then your representative, depending if you're black, white, Hispanic, or Paisa, will come up to you and like, why the fuck didn't you get involved? And then you'll either have to do some like exercises, best case scenario, and like, you've got to do 500 burpees today, so that would be your kind of sentence. Or you can go to the bathroom and take your chances. Don't really want to be going to the bathroom to say take any chances, but that's very, very disturbing end times. I don't even I'm curious, but I kind of don't want to ask, just in case that's like something that's a little bit sensitive to you. My goodness. That doesn't sound good at all. So I did notice that we had Judy Bell a little bit, maybe the inmate a while ago, but she's disappeared. Maybe she's cooking. It is that time over here in the United States, where people will be settling down probably to supper and dinner time. And it is a little bit, what's it over there in the UK now? It's got to be about 2:30 in the morning, maybe? Or was it later than that? So I'm trying to say, Glynis, hello, darling. When did you pop in? I didn't see you arrive. 1 a.m. there. So that's not too bad. It's not too bad. The clock's gone back. They went back the other week, I think. We've been ahead of you a little bit here. 7 p.m. down in Louisiana, where little Nancy Fangart is, our favorite Cajun. And somebody left a comment and said my southern accent needed a little bit of practice. I mean, I know I don't exactly sound like a local, but does it really need that much practice? Yeah, same here, Darcy. We're in the same time zone, I believe. Sorry, I've got cotton mouth and hiccups from talking and not drinking water. Oh my God, I don't know if any of you have saw it yet, but not long before I went live, I tried to do a ration review. It's the worst ration I've ever tasted, or even had the worst experience of fucking just smelling it. And it was a Chinese PLA, Public Liberation Army ration. And I can I tried to eat some of it. You're gonna have to watch the video for yourself to find out. But I kind of still have a little bit of the flavor of the thing that just wasn't good. And like, hook of a JJ that hasn't been washed with a KFC wet nap would have been much more aromatic. That's the word I was looking for. Much more of a pleasurable aromatics, and possibly taste and texture than the food in this Chinese PLA ration that I tried to review earlier. Worst ration review I've ever done. Possibly the worst ration in the world. I'm not sure if it hasn't or not, because it come from China. I actually think it come from Wuhan. I could probably find out on eBay if it did or not. But I don't know if it's given me the COVID. I mean, I don't think it has, because I don't believe in it. But I've been, like, since I ate some of the weird food, I've had a couple of, like, weird symptoms. Nothing. Kendall mint cake. I had a bit of Kendall mint cake for ages. I'm gonna go and, like, Rosa in Colin, see, just to know, this is how prepared I am, guys. See those there? Those 2 boxes? That's 2 complete boxes of military rations, although the civilian version of million rations. There's like a month's worth of military ration food there, easy enough. There's 120 servings of ramen noodles. That's super noodles for you guys back in England. You don't call them ramen there, but those are super noodles, prison style. That's how you can survive. They're like 10 cents a packet sometimes. So here I got some crackers, some cookies, instant mashed potatoes, already cooked rice, more ramen, banana chips. Now I've got all my canned food. There's like 100 or so cans there. It's enough to last me quite a while. There are my military rations. Russian, big fat Portuguese one little Latvian leftover. Look at that shoebox, Colin. I'm pretty sure you're going to love that. That's fucking awesome, don't you think? Got a mask there. That says the COVID hoax. Shall I tell you what I'm going to do? I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. Hold on a second. Let me get the camera back into position. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I already live on that shit. Dollar store. I'd rather have rice than no rice if I'm hungry. So let me show this. I don't got much rice. I've only got like about 15 pouches. All right. Can you see that? Kind of get that all in there. See, it's got a little water bottle on the side, so it's pretty micro. It's pretty small. So Rosa, Colin, in fact, anybody else, do you want to see what's inside? If I told you I've got food, I've got a tent, I've got a coat, I've got a stove, I'll tell you, let's get it out. First aid kit. So I'm going to get everything that is in here out. So first off the bat, I've got this is my EDC, my everyday carry. Although I don't carry it every day. In an emergency, I could grab this in a leave. So I've got a little first aid kit there. Nothing very, a couple of slings, bandages, band-aids, ointments, stuff like that. Simple. Here I've got a little radio. It's a wind-up crank radio. Not only that, it's a power bank, so you can charge your phone. It's solar powered. It does have a radio. So there you go. It's got AM, FM, and weather band. Not only that, it's got a flashlight. All right. So and you can also run it off. You can plug it in and run it off a USB cord off the mains and charge it. So that's a cool little gadget. A little flashlight all in one. It's just like a TARDIS. TARDIS is Doctor Who. He used to travel around in like a police phone box, but on the inside, it was bigger than it was on the outside. It was huge on the inside. Doctor Who. So I've got this little box. I can't even remember myself. So I've got these. Yes, you can get the footy results. I think I can get world bands. So I've got in the bag, I've got these four, actually three. Can you see that? Little 3 waterproof storage systems. There's a little foldable stove. I got 2 of those actually. I got 2 stoves, so that's a little stove. So that's everything that's in the. Oh no, it isn't everything. I got loads more. That's a life straw, so I can just put this in the lake, Ontario, and drink from this straw, and it has a filtration system in it, so I can drink any water anywhere in the world. I don't know, I got it from eBay on China. It doesn't have a brand, there's no brand's name on it at all. So there's my life straw. I'm not going to get this out, but that is PVC MAC. It's like a coat, a waterproof coat that goes down below the knee, so I can just put that over the top of me, keep myself dry. And it comes in this little pouch. The pouch kind of broke, so that's a coat. All right. I've also got a flameless heater ration in the back. Sorry, I'm just showing you everything. On the front of the bag, I got one of those little bracelets with a little knife and a compass and a whistle and a watch. So that locks into place. It's got a little clock on it, and dudes, I got nearly all this stuff from China. It costs like pennies on the dollar, really. So I got a little one of those. Let me just double check. That's everything that was in the front. Okay. I've also got, this is my little tent. This is a tent sleeping bag type deal. So I'm not going to unfold it. But that is a tent. It's 8 foot. That gets to 8 foot. If you need be, and it's kind of like reflective on the inside. So it's insulated. Sings, he's a goner. You don't even like fat rations. I do. I ate a whole entire 24-hour ration in one sitting. Sings a lot. I've actually done that twice. Talking of rations, I've got 3 days worth of food in there in a ration that I wrap fuck. So I've got a fresh nap. I've got 3 entrees, some cakes, some crackers, some peanut butters, and drink. I've got, this is the best one as well, believe it, believe it, believe it, an emergency spliff in a waterproof container. And on the side, I've got a water bottle. It's got a cup like that, you see, and that goes there. And I've also got matches. These ones are windproof. They won't go out. You can even probably light those underwater. Waterproof matches and just a regular matchbook. All right. And that's quite a lot, right? But that's not all. How am I going to light the spliff? Colin. So in here, I've got, again, more matches. This is my fire lighting kit. I've got one of the, I need to peel, it's got the thing on there. You have to peel this, it's got like a coating. But that's one of those type deal things. It's also a window smasher that does a few things, and it's also got a ruler, bottle opener. That can be, it's like a little multi-tool. I've got a little knife, got another little whistle, a key, but it's not an ordinary key. It's another little knife. And it's actually got a lock on it that I've forgotten how I, well, that's it there. Yeah, so there's another little knife. And 2 little fishing kits. There's 2 fishing kits in there. Yeah, that's all that is. 2 little fishing kits. So fire lighting and fishing kits in that one. I've got to try and remember how I got it all in. And that's why you put them in these little things so they don't get lost. Right. Now we go to the middle-sized one. Let's look in this. This isn't even my bug out bag, end times. So in here, I've got flashlight. This is fucking cool as you like. This is what I wanted to show you actually, Colin. You were talking about slingshots. Not only is it a slingshot, it's also brass knuckles. And where's Trip? Is Trip here? Oh my God. Guys, hold on a second. Excuse the room. So I got to prep a baby. I'm going to try and shoot him. He also always told me to... We just shot the prepper baby out of a slingshot. Trip, you missed it, brother. So I've got that. That was like $4 from China, Rosa. $4. And it's a pretty cool cat as well. And it's brass. It is brass. Yeah, the Barnet Diablo. That was the thing. I just launched the prepper baby ribbit. Oh, but I forgot you're like a little bit behind. So I've got more waterproof matches. I've got 200 steel ball bearings for my catapult. I've got another whistle. What have I got inside the whistle? A spare battery for the flashlight. That's also got a little compass on the top. I've got another little slingshot, which is kind of got a bigger like pouch there. It's also got some cordage on there. I know. I keep forgetting the delay. We've got in here a little moldy tool, so you can see that's got all kinds of things in there. Got a screwdriver. I think there's 2 stuck together there. It's got a little saw. So there's a little moldy tool. What else have I got? Can't even remember what that is now. I think that's a carboner type deal. And another one of those. So we've got one more to go through, which is the big one. So this is kind of like a little bit of weaponry. Shit, how did it go? Nose goes there. Flashlight there. And that's the beauty of these little containers, right? You can just kind of squish everything up there. So the last one is the big one. Look like my Mrs. handbag, only less stuff. Yeah, that's true actually. I bet some of these ladies out here. You grabbed the wrong kit. So I got this one here, perfect for those zombies. We've got a tactical pen, which writes upside down in the water. It's very, very solid. You can smash windows. Also, that's like that point there is very sharp. That's almost a prison shank, but better. You could do some very, very, very good damage with that. More matches, waterproof ones. Some more of those paracord bracelet type deals. Another knife. Another flashlight. This one I think actually has the strobe. I've got cordage. Look at this little bad boy. There's another little kind of finger knife. You could put that on there, or you can get 2 fingers in like that. Jab, 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 jab to the neck. Eyes, face, that's going to do some damage. Another one of those little, I think I got 2 of those. Oh no, that's another one of those little moldy tool. But this, what do you think this is? This is cool as fuck. It's another knife, credit card knife, not very sharp. Could do a little bit of a, but there's a little foldable knife like that, and it's got a little clip that holds the blade in place. I've got an emergency blanket, see, like that. A little stove. This comes like that. You fold that up. Got a little stove. I got more matches, some more cordage, and let me show you like that. See those? So there's some cordage. There's another flashlight, and those are soluble fuel tablets for the stove, so I can cook myself something to eat. So that's everything, guys, that is in my eBay EDC, my everyday carry bag. Although it isn't my everyday carry bag, because I don't carry it every day. But if I needed to, like if there was a zombie apocalypse, then this is what I would be carrying with me every day. And everything fits in perfectly. I'm not going to bother putting it all back in the bag. I'll do that later on. So that's one of my bags. Yeah, I want to get a fixed blade knife. That was my next thing. Actually, let's shut the bathroom door. And that's my bug out bag. Do you want me to get everything out of that? Do you want to see what's in there? Okay. So I've got a tarp and spikes to put the tarp down with. Some of those have lights. I've got a water bottle. There's loads of shit. There's first aid kit. See-through garbage, heavy duty garbage. That's like a super shower. You can just climb inside that if you need to. Greenhouse effect, keep you dry, waterproof. Yeah, there's far too much to get out of here. But maybe there's that. That's one thing I wanted to get out. And can I get the other? And so that's just a little bit of some of the things that I have in that bag I put together from the dollar store. Everything that come in my bug out bag, the red one, come from the dollar store. Dollar store. Yeah, this was a fishing knife, $4. And look who made it. BMX Shimano. Do you remember they used to make pedals in the handlebar grip? I did actually sharpen that up a little bit at work on the steel, but it still could be a little bit sharper. You can't shave with it just yet. And you can attach, it's got the little loop, so you can attach that onto your belt. I've also got a shower, believe it or not, in the red bag. It comes, there's a shower, a camping shower. I've actually got 2 tents in there, first aid kit, a whole bunch of like emergency blankets. So kind of the 2 bags together with like, Jesus, I got more than I need. And that's what my weapon of choice would be, an axe, just because it's a fucking axe. It's like, Jesus, he's got a fucking axe. Just comes off looking a little bit psychopathic. And this is very, very heavy duty. You can use it as a hammer as well. $4 that cost me from the dollar store. Very good axe. Does the lighting? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. If the looting starts, me and my axe are going out looting. I've kind of always wanted to go looting, like on a wide scale. Gears, brakes. Yeah, Shimano used to do all stuff. Rick style. Yeah, you know, I would school fucking Rick, honestly. Rosa and that fucking bitch Dixon, Daryl Dixon. He'd be my bitch. Let's put it that way. So I got a bunch of cool stuff, and all of it was very, very, very inexpensive. Like some of these I bought, these boxes, they kind of had they were all-in-one survival kits that come with like a bunch of stuff inside of them. So believe it or not, all of that fits in there in that one bag. It doesn't even fit. There's a, where did that one come from? I think that's Lithuanian. That's from Lithuania. So I can warm my food up. So I got, you know, everything I could possibly want in a bug out bag that is very, very small and compact. Luton's pretty whack. Bikes. Yeah, Shimano. Have you got a Shimano bike, Nancy? At least the axe has the safety on, yeah. Axe finger. Yeah, I thought I'd show off some of my eBay EDC in bug out bag items to Rosa and John Donson, because they haven't kind of seen that stuff. So I'm, like you said, buddy, I'm fucking prepared for the zombie apocalypse. And did put together a little playlist that I started in January called 2020 Time to Prep. And in those videos in January, I talked about, and listen, guys, I don't really think we've seen the end of this coronavirus. I don't know what the deal is exactly, but we ain't seen the end of it. Now's the time to be getting some ramen noodles and beans. And it almost seems somewhat prophetic now, or foresight. But no, I almost wish there wasn't. But kind of did put a little video up, a post up in the Facebook group saying, can't say I didn't tell you, prepped to the max. So I could be prepped more, but certainly for the foreseeable future, I've got enough food and stuff. Oh my God, let's just show you what else I got. So we've got a bag of all sorted weed. There's probably about 1.5 ounces shoved in there, for maybe less. There's probably more than 1 ounce, but that's kind of like a trail mix bag of weed. And then I've got can you see in there? That's marijuana. This is the most important prep, yeah. And there's also marijuana. Yeah, the same here. They were a little bit bare for a while. They kind of let everything run out and kind of created that illusion that there was a panic. Then also, they're going to restock. And then when they restocked, that's when they started with the. So I think that was part of the plan to kind of like run everything down to give the illusion of the oh my God, the shortage. And then when people kind of heard that the grocery stores had restocked again, they that's when they found out that they had to wait in line. Talking of soggy gussets, if I don't take a fucking piss, I'm gonna have a soggy gusset. So I wish I had more bags of these, though. Honest to God, Jesus! Do you remember last year when I had like a couple of pounds of weed? My weed dispensary was going to be closing down for 6 weeks. Rosa and Collins. So I bought about fucking, I don't even know how many thousands of dollars I spent. But yeah, you did tell me Tide bottle, but I had about maybe certainly a pound. I had a pound of weed at least at one point. I wish I had that pound of weed now. That was during the spring break last year. I really do think something's happened to that camera. Doesn't normally look that close. It's just a distraction. You've got to fight over the bog roll while we fuck face the next generation. Oh, and just to let you know, I've also got Kirkland toilet roll. When you couldn't get toilet roll for love nor money, like honestly, guys, it disappeared. People were going crazy for toilet roll. I found this at my local convenience store, and when I was walking it down the road, I might as well have been driving a Lambo with fucking Jessica Alba naked on the hood. The way people were eyeing my fucking bathroom tissue is bling. All right, I'm going to go take a leak, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, that was a good piss. That was a little bit like Austin Powers. I did get these a little while ago for prizes on Wheel of Thrift, but it's unlikely we're going to be having any Wheel of Thrift anytime soon because I don't got the TSP phone turned on at the moment. Yeah, send me one. I'll pee in a bottle on live on air one day for you, Ribbit. I don't got a Tide bottle. I'm actually allergic to Tide. Did I ever tell you about my Tide allergy reaction? No, it's not. John Donson is a code name, Chris. Dobson. Depends needs to be on your prepping list then. That's all right. Just piss where I need to be if it gets to that cage. But this is a fun poop inflatable balloon. I think I'm probably going to have more chance blowing this up. So basically, I'm going to get the poo toys out for some fun. Oh my goodness. Look at it. So that's it's got a hook on there. It is, and I think somehow you need to stick that up its butt. That's just disgusting. You see, it's got like a hole there. But it blows up to 20 centimeters. But you got to get that. I don't know how exactly you get that in. Maybe you need to get some lube or something. Oh, there we go. And somehow you're supposed to blow in it. But I don't know. Look, there's a picture of the girl blowing in it. But it doesn't actually give you any instructions. Look how happy she is. Hey, look at me. I've got a shit balloon in there. That's what it looks like when it's blown up. But I think that's what you do. You put that in and... Oh, wait. Hang on. Oh, that's about as far as I can blow it up before I'm going to have a fucking heart attack that gave me lightheaded. I wanted to try and blow it up so it got bigger on the camera, but that's what it looks like. That was the shit balloon. Oh god, that really this one doesn't need blowing up. Yeah, it is, but this is like one of those ones that you throw against the wall. That's all squidgy, but if you throw it against a soft surface, you remember those octopuses that used to fall down the window? That's what this does. It's got a nugget in it, like a piece of sweet corn, perhaps. But all these funny little, yeah, that was kind of like hitting a coconut bong. That would, let me try and put a little bit more in. I was going to do that actually. So there's, I'm trying not to get me. Oh, that didn't work. But it's stuck to the bag, look. That's how sticky it is. It's stuck to the bag. And oh, it went in a dusty part of the thing. It's covered in dust now. That's disgusting. But I was going to... Oh, okay. Watch, there's the door. Let's try again. It's got too much dust on him. All right. But that's what it's supposed to do, wriggle down the door. It is a very sticky shit. And it's all, look, it's got stuff all stuck to it. It actually looks quite textured now. That's because it's covered in stuff. All the stuff is stuck to the sticky part of it. Take that CD. Yeah, imagine if you had to give a stool sample, you could give it one of these. Just pop that in an envelope to them. Yeah, you probably are. So that was a little bit disappointing. We can't even use it unless I try and wash the stuff off of him. It's got a cute little face though, don't you think? I just thought of something very funny. I'm trying to replicate something here from it makes sense. I'm using rubber Elmo right now. But I'm trying to position her so it's funny. All right. I don't know if you can see there. There's Elmo. I tried to get her bending over, and the poop was supposed to be coming out of her butthole. Look, that was what I was trying to do, because there's her butthole. But it didn't work as well as I hoped. That was going to be old dusty balls, but you can kind of squeeze it. Look, like that. Oh, I should have used this in the story for the inmate. There you go. Okay, guys, I think on that note, we've just been going over the 2-hour mark. We might wrap this up if you don't mind. Cue somebody turning up. Maybe the real Almal will show up now. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. That's 2 hours. We had a bit of a fun show tonight. At least I hope you had a fun show tonight. It was pretty fun. This is pretty sticky too. They're both sticky. Oh, look. That's pretty cool with the eye, don't you think? I didn't realize it did that. Hang on, let's see if we can get it to do anything else. The eye is trippy. You need a poo. It will come clean if you run under some water. Yeah, I'll give it a go. I kind of like the furry turd, though. Kind of adds to its character. Let's see. Why is that so entertaining? We could just make a channel with this, right? I don't know. Yep. Hanging out with a dead guy in an apartment. Who's got a dead guy in an apartment? I don't got a dead. Have you got a dead guy in the apartment, Ribbit? Look at that in HD. It looks almost like Jabba the Hutt. You Johnny too. Anyway, don't you think that looked a little bit like Jabba the Hutt? Imagine that guy looking at your window at night. I know. But he's got a little. You could even hang it on a Christmas tree. And you can spin it around. Ooh, I love the feel of that. No wonder men like boobs. Like, I'd certainly hope your boobs don't feel like turds, Darcy. That would be a little bit disturbing. But quite possibly stress relief. Okie dokie, guys. So that was the thing you had to insert into it to blow. Maybe we could pretend that was the COVID testing kit, and they have to stick that up the nose. But I'm pretty sure you could probably use that for drug taking. Maybe. Ooh, I love the feel of that. I bet you do, Darcy. So, guys, we are going to wrap it up. Look, we got 3 minutes until it is 2 hours and 15. That kind of ends it on a round number, and I got to put all this stuff back in the box tonight. So, did you have fun? Those of you who hung out tonight, was this a good episode, or was it? Why did you bother? Type of thing. We did get 2 pan bangs. I didn't ask if any of you were banging your pans. Well, the pan bang was going on here. That was the purpose and the idea yesterday. But as I said, guys, we are wrapping it up. Hope you had fun. We did talk about some interesting stuff, and certainly very interesting what Colin was telling us that was going on over in the UK. Certainly how kind of totalitarian it is getting. And something I did mention, guys, that China, it was the blueprint. It's the project. You know, like we had Mondex in our town. Mondex is cash is Mondex. Our town was used as a pilot project. China's the pilot project for the New World Order, guys. So maybe we can talk a little bit about how or where, or if we're even going to get there in another episode. But for now, guys, we are going to say goodnight. God bless China, Chinadia, the Chinated States of America, the Chinated Kingdom. That's what is coming. The one world. Mondex is cash is Mondex. It was actually the Mondex that kind of drew my attention into the New World Order and the elites in their quest for one world government, cashless society, stuff like that. Chinexico. Oh, this could go on all night. Chinanistan. That could be any one of the stands. Chinanistan. Chindia, India, China. China, Africa. Yuck, not all men. I just mean squishy. Real turds don't have. Some do. You've never eaten a 24-hour ration in one sitting. I take things a lot. That will rip your asshole to shreds when it does finally exit. Because there's a lot of stands. Do you mean stands or stains? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, stands. Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Liechtenstein. I don't know if that's a real one, but it sounds like it might be. Liechtenstein. So anyway, guys, that's it. 2 hours 15 minutes. Hope you had fun hanging out with TSP today. Certainly hope you enjoyed having our special guests from the United Kingdom in the house. Some very good friends of mine from back home. Long time friends. Yeah, nice that they're now part of the family. Kind of worlds colliding, a little bit like Costanza in Seinfeld when worlds collide. Fucking stands everywhere now. Careful with it. That almost sounds like you could be a little bit radicalized right wing. So yeah, thank you, brother, and really appreciate you calling in and letting us know what happened with you and the first-hand experience of the totalitarianism. Lucky you managed to get away. Yeah, Swindon. We're not from the UK. We're Swindonian. Swindon's like a principality, like Monaco, or San Marino. Stan the garbage man washed his paste in a frying pan. There you go, Maida Montana. So thank you, Nancy, Don, Rosa, Ribbit, Heidi, Judy Bell sings a lot as always. Nancy, fun guy. Oh, by the way, guys, I did need to tell you, Wolf's back. He went to see Danny last night, and I think he's given her a little bit of dicking, to be quite honest. That's why she's not here tonight. And they did mushrooms yesterday, so that's probably where they are today. So thank you, Glynis, as well for your company. We will sing you. I know I'm just joking with you, Ribbit. We'll be excellent to each other. That's the little mantra that we have here. Just be excellent to each other. Doesn't matter where you're from, what you believe in. We're all excellent in the Thrift Fam. Thanks, guys, for your company. As I said, we'll probably see you tomorrow. Until then, take care, stay out of trouble. My blessings to everybody back in Swindon. Give my love and best wishes to anybody I know that you may come in contact. And don't be strangers. Come back and join us again, guys. The rest of you, regular offenders, we'll see you when we see you next. This is a shit video production. This is TSP TV. We will see you in the next one. Until then, keep it thrifty.